Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for Singin' in the Rain. So Singin' in the Rain is celebrating its 65th anniversary this week. It's astonishing that the movie came out 65 years ago and still holds up so well. And also with the recent tragic passing of Debbie Reynolds, and with hitting 100 subscribers, thank you so much for that, I decided it would be a perfect time to review one of my all-time favorites, Singin' in the Rain. So in case you don't know, Singin' in the Rain, it stars Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, Donald O'Connor, and it revolves around the story. It's this young man who just hit Hollywood, he just struck it big, and he's in a lot of silent movies, and it's about him slowly falling for a new person to Hollywood as well, played by Debbie Reynolds, and their romance and how it affects their work. So Singin' in the Rain is a classic film. A lot of people love it. It's contended as one of the best films of all time, and trust me, there's a good reason for that, because Singin' in the Rain is honestly one of the best films I have ever seen. I love this film in practically every single way. For one, it's astonishing that this film was made in 1952, because it has such a great classic Hollywood feel. Just the sets and everything. It looks like a silent film, yet at the same time it's also this live action picture. And they really perfectly combined that tone where it's old Hollywood feel and modern day. And that's because that's really what the film is about. It's about people who, worked in the silent film era, slowly going on to become, into talking pictures. And how that affected them. And I love how the film's style really complemented that very well. And also, this film, for being 65 years old, is still funny to this day. The theater that I was seeing it in, practically a full house, was dying at every joke. They were laughing so hard, and I was with them because this film still has humor that holds up so well. A lot of the humor is slapstick, but it works because it's not just aimed for kids slapstick. It's slapstick that everyone else can enjoy, and some of the more subtle jokes and some of the more, not and so in front of your face jokes, they're also very well done. And the humor really complements the themes in the movie, because they deal with a lot of heavy themes that don't seem that heavy on the surface. Like, for example, there's the scene where Gene Kelly, ends up jumping inside Debbie Reynolds' car, and she starts freaking out. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're a gangster." And then when she calls over a policeman, the policeman sees him and says, "Oh, you're this guy." Suddenly she's fine with it because it was famous person against unfamous person. It's the conflicting view of we view famous people more important than unfamous people, and that's still a very, topical theme to this day, and the way that they incorporate it in the movie is so well done, and because they don't take it too seriously. On face value, a lot of people say that this film doesn't have too many complex themes, but it really does when in the end of the day, if you analyze it, and you realize that they fantastically combined humor with those really heavy themes, that works out very well. Also, you gotta say that the choreography and singing in this film is stunning. It's absolutely amazing. A lot of people complimented La La Land this year for having choreography and dancing in like a random place at a random time, yet it felt natural and it fit with the movie. But Singin' in the Rain, I feel, did that actually a lot better. Because these characters, they're very musical characters. They work on musicals, and they want to make their life a musical. And because the film is a musical, it works out really well, because people will be singing suddenly like that, and it makes sense with the characters. It makes sense with what's going on, and it's 100% believable that they're dancing on cue, that they're singing on cue. It just really works. Now that leads me into one of my issues with the film. Now look, the singing and the dancing, it's very well done, and I really enjoy it. But at times I think it can go on a little too long. Not to the point that it gets annoying, but a few musical numbers, they go on for a little too long. You have some fantastic ones, like Make Them Laugh, which is just a phenomenal masterwork, but besides that, you have like the one towards the end of the film where he's explaining what the dance number is like, and that goes on for about 10 minutes, and it sort of felt unnecessary. It's singing and dancing that goes on forever and ever, and though you like it at first, after a while it gets a bit repetitive and a bit annoying, and at times it really bogged down the film. Besides that, the beginning does have some forced exposition, but I like how they incorporated humor with that exposition. See, there's a lot of modern day films that have exposition, but they just say the exposition, and it seems really lazy because they aren't doing anything with it. But what Singin' in the Rain was able to do is that it gives you exposition, but it adds more to it. It adds humor. It adds, a lot of things to it, and I really did enjoy that. But in the end of the day, it is forced exposition. But absolutely, the Make Them Laugh scene, I mentioned it earlier, that is an amazing scene. At the TCM screening that I went to, they actually mentioned that Donald O'Connor, after doing that scene, went to the hospital immediately because his lungs were not feeling correct because he smoked 4 packs of cigarettes a day. And you can't tell at all because he does so well with it. He just doing situational comedy where it seems like he's in a silent film. He's sitting, he has a lot of overdone, movements, and it works out really, really well. And that led to such a hilarious scene that at the end, my theater clapped at. And that's so rare with musicals, where no one's there. It's not like it's a Broadway show or anything, but you're just sitting there and people start clapping over a musical number in a film. That's a rare experience, and Make Them Laugh absolutely deserves that. And speaking of Donald O'Connor, his character could have been so flat, but he absolutely wasn't. All the characters are great, and I like them all, but definitely Donald O'Connor made his character so interesting and so fascinating, and I just have to applaud him for his performance. The film was only nominated for 2 Academy Awards, which was Best Original Score and Best Supporting Actress for the actress that played the person with the annoying voice. But I believe Donald O'Connor also should have been nominated. He brought so much intelligence to the role. He brought a lot of humor to the role. He brought a lot to the role, and you don't really get that in a lot of people in Hollywood today. Too many people just sort of brush it off as really dramatic acting, or if they're a side character, they think, oh, I'm a side character, I don't want to steal the show. But Donald O'Connor was able to balance out stealing the show while giving the actors other times to do their performances, and I really do have to applaud him for that. And of course, the chemistry among everyone is fantastic. Every single friendship, every single romance, every single disliking works out so well because the chemistry among the cast is so great. But of course, the biggest part of this movie that I love is that it is so entertaining. This is honestly one of the most entertaining films that I have ever seen. I mean, it goes by like that. It doesn't slow down at all. It consistently stays up. Other than that one musical number, honestly, this film doesn't slow down. It continues with at a super entertaining rate, and it's such a fun film to watch. I could watch it when I'm in any mood. If I'm down, I could watch it. If I'm happy, I could watch it. If I'm angry, I could watch it. Singing in the Rain is such a rewatchable experience because that's what this film is. It's not just a film you go see, it's an experience in the theater because it's so entertaining. I absolutely love Singing in the Rain, and that is why I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Alright, I do want to talk a little bit right here about Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher. So, in case you've been hiding under a rock and you didn't know, Carrie Fisher recently passed away by a heart attack at the age of 60, and Debbie Reynolds one day afterwards. And this is a very sad event. Both of these actresses did such a great job with their performances because they were strong female characters that showed that you don't need to be huge and masculine in order to be a strong character. You can be strong and be feminine at the same time. And a lot of people view them as role models, and there's a good reason for that because Carrie Fisher, her performance in Star Wars, inspired a lot of people from a young age that being strong is something that they need to do. And Debbie Reynolds also got a lot of people into singing and dancing. Both of these actresses did such a fantastic job in their careers, and it is very sad that they had to go. But also, I need to say thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. It's been about a year and a half ago that Connor and I started this review channel, and I'm not sure how many people were going to watch it. I was very excited to do it, but all of my other reviews on other channels that I've had, I did them for fun, but not a lot of people watched them. But progressively, we've gotten more and more views, and I have to thank you all so much for 100 subscribers. Alright, that concludes my review for Singing in the Rain. What do you think of this film? Comment in the comment section below. I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.